Welcome to the Women Matter podcast with your host, Marlene C. DeRosso. Join us as we delve into all things women, from the complexities of fertility to empowering discussions on femininity and confidence. Our segments shine a light on the journey of family building, offering awareness and support to those navigating this path. We're here to tackle impactful topics crucial to women's lives, empowering you to be unapologetically yourself while embracing your femininity. Tune in for insightful conversations and inspiration to live boldly in every aspect of your life. Because here on the Women Matter podcast, every woman's story matters. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Women Matter podcast. I'm your host, Marlene DeRosso. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as we continue our segment, Your Fertility Matters, I want to get into the substance of our next episode, where we're going to talk about how to maximize your support and success on your infertility journey by unveiling fertility coaching. Yes, we'll talk about what a fertility coach is, what value they provide, and what benefits you can get from working with a fertility coach while you're on your journey. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's jump right into it. So before we begin, I wanted to back up a little bit and talk about when is it even time to seek help or external help when you're on your fertility journey. Now, generally speaking, you'll normally hear that medical professionals say that depending on your age and depending on what your reasons are for not having gotten pregnant yet, but mainly with your age, they would say up to 1 year of trying unsuccessfully to get pregnant. So if you're having unprotected sex for at least 1 year and it has not resulted in a pregnancy, then a lot of the times that's when the professionals would say that it's time to seek external help. Oftentimes that comes with people going in to make appointments with their OBGYN or their personal GYN. And depending on what happens and what kind of tests are ran, additional tests and ultrasounds and different things like that are done. And from there, you may be referred to a fertility specialist, which is also known as a reproductive endocrinologist. So what we actually get and what to look for and how to pick and how to find a reproductive endocrinologist, also known as a fertility specialist. Now, that's something that we can get into, and I'll definitely dig into in another episode in terms of how to look for one, find one, how to know which one is the best one for you. We can definitely talk about that in another episode. So definitely stay tuned for that. In this particular episode, I want to discuss what the benefits are for working with a fertility coach. So after my own 15-year journey with infertility, I am no longer on my journey. I'm happy to say that my journey is over. However, in my quest to give back and in my quest to bring awareness to the infertility problem, one of the things that I have decided to do more research on and dig into was become a fertility coach. And I feel that there's a lot of value added and benefits that come with working with a fertility coach. So it's something that I offer to my clients as a service, having come from someone like myself who have that lived experience with dealing with infertility. And for me, before I get into a little bit more structure in terms of the episode, I can say that it's something that I wish that I had or I knew existed back when I was on my journey, because I feel that having, the capability and the ability to work with someone that's strictly there to advocate for you and have you be equipped with information and knowledge while you're on your journey, and also to provide that support, that one-on-one support, I think is just invaluable. So it's something that if I could have gone back and something that I knew about back then, I would have definitely invested in a fertility coach. So with that being said, let's jump right into the benefits and the whys and things of that nature of working with a fertility coach. Okay. So a lot of the times I have to say that people go in and seek the services of a fertility coach because they are there to mainly help you achieve balance and harmony for a positive impact on your fertility journey. Okay. They have expertise that helps with supplementing the medical guidance and gives extra physical, mental, and emotional support to people that are on their journey. And remember, one of the key words that I mentioned there is that they help supplement the medical guidance. Now, I say that to say it's important to know that although some fertility coaches are certified, being a certified fertility coach or having a certification is not required to be deemed a coach. However, it is good and a good practice when people do take that extra mile to go and get that certification, although it's not required. So for someone like me who started off as a fertility advocate, branching off into becoming a fertility coach, it's something that my lived experience has, I feel, equipped me with a lot of the basis and foundational information that I need to be able to be there and physically and mentally and psychologically support other women that are currently on their infertility journey. Okay. And a fertility coach also educates, their clients and the people that they're working with on the different approaches that are available. And they also teach you how to advocate for yourself. Because oftentimes when you're working with a fertility coach, they may not be able to go to all of your appointments with you. However, if you know that there's a big and important appointment that's coming up, the fertility coach works with you in that one-on-one session to help prepare you for that appointment by basically equipping you with the type of questions to ask of your provider, to find out different tests that may need to be ran, maybe an appointment to go over different results, because oftentimes on this fertility journey, you are plagued with having a lot of tests done, whether it's ultrasounds, whether it's blood work, whether it's different diagnostic testing. And with that, it's a lot of information to then take in and try to dissect and understand on your own. So with that being said, many of the medical professionals, when you meet with them, let's be honest, they're really busy. There's always a lot of patients. There's people waiting. And as a patient, at least with me, I always felt that as great as my infertility doctor was, and he was very patient, took his time to answer all my questions, because I was always a little foggy, a little confused, wanted a little bit more clarity. I know I was prone to ask, questions that would have taken up a lot of his time to answer. So with that, that's where the fertility coach would come in, because the doctor obviously, is busy. So I felt like, well, I didn't want to waste his time, or I didn't want to feel like I was being a bother and taking up time from another patient. So then that led me down the rabbit hole of going to Dr. Google to continue my research or continue my education. And oftentimes that's not really good, because you can go down this rabbit hole that doesn't really result in anything outside of more cloudiness, more confusion, just more information for your brain to try to make sense of and sift through. Okay. So another reason why it's important to have a fertility coach, or one of the benefits for having a fertility coach, is they help to manage your anxiety, your stress, any depression, and also your expectations. Because being someone that has gone through this journey, I have to tell you that infertility is one of those things that no one asks for. So you don't really have a manual on how to do it, or how to navigate the process, right? So with that, it's important to have that person with you that can also give you basic, understandings, and basically give you a more, what word am I looking for? Give you a more practical and a more realistic set of expectations on what to expect, what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. And with that comes with the anxiety, and it comes with the stress. It comes with the depression. Maybe you're not getting the results that you thought you would get after having a particular test or diagnostic situation done. So your fertility coach will help you navigate through those emotions, because one of the things that I found, and it still stands true to this day, when it comes to infertility, it is a process of hurry up and wait. So you hurry up to get something done. You hurry up to get the test done. You hurry up to get to the appointment, just to then wait. So that waiting process in itself is enough to just take your stress and anxiety through the roof. And oftentimes when you're in that waiting process, it's hard, because you have all these thoughts and different things that are going through your head. and you're just trying to make sense of it. And with that, you want to be able to talk to someone about it. So in my case, I had my husband who was very supportive. And, after a while, I just felt like, I'm bothering him. And maybe I felt in my brain that he didn't understand, or, et cetera. Or maybe I tried to talk to my friends, because not a lot of my friends knew what was going on. But the few that did, I always felt that I was a burden, and, maybe they don't care to hear about all these intricate details. So that's where the fertility coach comes in, because when you're in that waiting period, whether you're waiting for a test result or you're waiting for a diagnosis or whatever it is that you're waiting for, then your fertility coach, having access to them, will help you soothe your anxiety, reduce some of the stress to help you get through to that next step that you're on with that fertility journey. Okay. The other good thing about having a fertility coach is they are there to help with communication and difficult conversations. Now, these difficult conversations are exactly what they're titled, difficult conversations. And it's very, a bit tricky because, again, you're on this infertility journey. You don't really know what to expect. However, one of the things that's common for many infertility patients is that you go into everything with an open mind and a sense of, because I attempted it, it's going to happen. Because I did this test, the results are going to be good. Because I took this medication, the results are going to be good. Because I, did this procedure, the results are going to be good. And again, that's part of that, what they don't tell you and what you can't prepare for when you're on that journey. That's not always the case. Unfortunately, although you are optimistic, which is a good way to be when you're on this type of journey, which is very traumatic and lonely and, all of the above, it is good to be optimistic. However, you may feel like your world will come crashing down when you get certain news that can be deemed to be bad news, right? So at that point, again, you may have your partner who you feel you can go to, or a friend, or the doctor themselves. But, having that fertility coach, you have access to them to really, have them help break down the depression that comes from communicating this bad news and this difficult news. And let me give you some examples of difficult news. Just like I said, you go and you have this test done, so it's going to work out. You go and, take this medication, so, the results are going to be good. In my case, some of the difficult news and communication that had to be done with me had to do with, yes, we did the test. We were able to get through to the test, for instance, but now, based on the results of the test, now you need more testing, or the results were inconclusive, right? Or now you have to go and have surgery. So that is just, not only is it mind-boggling, you weren't expecting that. So you have to be able now to take in what that now means for these additional detours that you're going to have to take. And having that fertility coach really helps to put things into perspective and help break down this additional news or difficult news, and difficult conversations that need to happen after receiving, results or, prognosis or things of that nature. So there are a lot of difficult conversations that have to happen in the infertility world. And sometimes it's not only with the woman, it may be with the male, your partner. Some of the difficult news may be their semen is, impaired. I don't know what other word to use, meaning maybe the count is too low, or the morphology is not, as normal, so to speak. Maybe the motility isn't as fast or at the level that it needs to be. And just to let you know, the count is, you need to have a minimum amount so that they can deem certain infertility procedures to be successful. So the male's count has to be a certain amount. So hearing that you don't have the count, that's difficult to hear, right? That's a difficult conversation to take in, because now if you thought that you were going to go on one trajectory, one type of infertility treatment, because now there's a low count, now that takes that procedure out, you now have to go to a more invasive procedure. So that's an example of a difficult procedure, difficult conversation to have as it relates to the male. You may have where maybe the count of the sperm is good, but the motility is not good. Motility is forward motion. So not only do we want to have enough sperm, we want to make sure that they're moving in the right direction. One, that they're moving, and two, that they're moving forward. It's called forward motility. So that may be a difficult conversation to have because it may change the trajectory of the type of treatment that the couple now has to undergo for their infertility. Also relating to the male, some of the difficult conversations may be maybe some of the sperm is abnormal. I've heard of situations where they find out that the man has no sperm at all. And it's something that you would have never known unless and until you go and get those tests done. And one of them being the semen analysis to make that determination for the male. So I can go on and on, both women and men, to tell you about the difficult conversations that are deemed to come up on your fertility journey. And outside of your doctor basically breaking down the medical aspect of everything for you, having that fertility coach there will help guide you through the aftermath of taking in all of that information that you're getting from these difficult conversations. Okay. Now, this was very, very important, and it's something that even I struggle with to this day, and I'm sure a lot of us still do. The fertility coach helps you to make decisions. How many of us are guilty of being indecisive? And it's hard because when you don't have a lot of options, you're like, man, I wish I had more options. And then when you have all these options, you don't know which way to go. Do you go up, down, east, west, north, south? You just don't know. And it's information overload. So it's good to have, that fertility coach with you that'll help basically you analyze the pros and cons or benefits and takeaways from different decisions that you have to make. And coming from someone who has had a lived infertility experience and who's been there, many of these difficult decisions are ones that, the fertility coach would have had to make as well. But now that they're on the outside looking in and, can see things from a greater scale and from a bigger picture to hone in on what would be best for their client, it's good in the sense that they help you make decisions. Now, just like your doctor, your fertility coach may not or is not deemed to just tell you what to do, right? Because even with the medical professional, you have your testing, you have everything. They give their suggestions based on an educated decision from a medical standpoint. It's the same with the fertility coach. They'll give their suggestion or help you make a decision based on their expertise or their experience. But ultimately, the final decision is up to the patient or client. And that's the beauty of having the fertility coach, and that they can help you coming from a practical and from a person who's relatable and been there point of view, help you make that decision. Okay. Or equip you with the right follow-up and supplemental questions to ask in your decision making so that when you speak to your medical practitioner, you can then be able to make a decision because you know the different follow-up and supplemental questions to ask. So that's a big one, because in life we have to make decisions, and sometimes the decisions are hard and you just want that extra help. You want that, well, what should I do? Or what do you think, right? There's a lot of what do you think? So having someone who's already been there in that fertility coach would be able to help you with what do you think about this, right? So, and again, when you're working with a fertility coach, you get to really know each other and experience each other on a very deep level. So then you'll be able to kind of, feel that sense of comfort and trust with them, and really sleep on whatever decision or suggestion that they make to help you guide yourself through the process. Okay. So making decisions, that's another benefit of a fertility coach. The next one is the fertility coach is very monumental in helping people make or create strategies for key moments during treatments. So for instance, what to do before and after an embryo transfer. A lot of times the embryo transfer or the IUI, which is the actual intrauterine insemination. Those are very daunting appointments that you have to prepare for. So the fertility coach will help you with what to do to prepare for those, big procedures when it relates to the infertility. And after you've had a embryo transfer, there's that dreaded 2-week wait, and I think that it falls in line with what I was explaining, that on your fertility journey, you hurry up and wait. That 2-week wait, I think, is like the worst, because you're literally in your own head. You feel like you want to jump out of your skin. You want to know if you're pregnant already. That 2-week wait is the time frame after they've transferred the embryo, which means they've take the fertilized embryo and placed it back into your uterus, and literally you wait for 2 weeks to see and find out whether or not you're pregnant. So having that fertility coach will be very, very beneficial in helping you come up with strategies on coping and ways to get through the 2-week wait, things to do to prepare for the transfer, things to do after the transfer, things of that nature. It's also number one on the fertility coach's radar to help motivate and ensure that you're committed to your treatment. Now, what I mean by that is, when you're on this fertility journey, there's so many difficult twists and turns and ups and downs that I have to be honest, you go through all of that, and sometimes you wonder, is it worth it? Will it work? Why don't I just give up? You just have all of these self-sabotaging type, not value-added thoughts that go to your head. So the fertility coach comes in at that point and helps you to stay focused, because at the end of the day, if you're already on that journey, you already have a path that's laid out by your physician that you're doing, you want to be motivated and committed to it and believe in it, so that your confidence is up, and then that you increase your chances of success. So that's really important, to try to stay focused. Basically, they help you to stay focused and motivated and committed to the process. Okay. The next thing that the fertility coach is beneficial for is many fertility coaches help you get in tune with improving your health for your fertility, whether it's via your nutrition, making some nutritional changes to make sure that you're at an optimal, fertility chances, physical health, making sure you're physically active, whatever that looks like for you. Everyone's level of physical activity is different based on whatever their issues are. So your fertility coach will definitely help guide you as it relates to how to stay physically active. That will, again, benefit and add value and increase the chance of success for your fertility journey or your fertility process. And also they help with making sure you have the right habits going, right? And that you're in the right environments. So when you're on that fertility journey, they're there to help keep you accountable. And everything that they're doing sometimes may seem like tough love, or not even tough love, just, oh, well, I don't want to do it. That's that motivation factor again. But you tend to take it and accept it and receive it better coming from someone who has already been there. So the fertility coach will help with improving your health overall for fertility as it relates to, again, your nutrition, your physical activity, your habits, and your environment. Okay. So one of the other things that the fertility coach is really good for is helping you to set goals and action plans. So I know that it's kind of, this is later in my list, so it doesn't matter really where you put it, because the reason why I say that is because you can bring in a fertility coach in any timing of your fertility journey. So regardless of when it is that you bring them in to work with you, the fertility coach focuses on helping you to set goals and put actions into plans, right? You take action plans, you set those goals, you put the plans together. How are we going to accomplish it? So regardless of where you are in your journey, they really help to guide you and make sure you set up that foundation that you need to get through it, right? Based on what it is that you hired them for to help get you pregnant. So, and finally, a great benefit of having a fertility coach is the fact that they help you with follow-up and accountability. Follow-up and accountability. That fertility coach will keep you accountable and will ensure they follow up with you based on whatever your last interaction was. That last interaction could have been, what your last doctor's appointment, wanted you to do, maybe records that you had to request from a previous practitioner, maybe additional tests that you needed to have run, whether or not, just following up and being accountable for things that you needed. Like let's say you're on the nutrition side. So they'll help keep you accountable on whether or not you had your, folic acid for the day, whether you took your vitamins for the day, what was your eating habits like that week, right? Because oftentimes, remember in my previous video, episode 1, you guys can go and watch that and reference it, trying to eat clean, once you establish what it is that you feel you need to maximize your fertility chances, that fertility coach comes in and helps to make sure that you are on track, you're accountable, and they follow up with you. Because if you said you're going to do it, they want to make sure you did it. If they said they were going to do it, they want to make sure they do it for you as well. Because at the end of the day, the fertility coach is there to help maximize your support and success on your infertility journey. So I know that was a lot. So pretty much fertility coaches are great, right? So definitely if you find yourself on this unplanned for, unwanted, unknowing journey of infertility that you don't know how to navigate, you don't have a manual for, there is no table of contents, definitely look into hiring a fertility coach to help you along the way. And again, remember, the fertility coach is totally different than your medical reproductive endocrinologist, which is your infertility doctor. They work in conjunction with the medical guidance that your fertility doctor gives you. So think of the fertility coach as like they're there for you, right? They're your person to help keep you accountable, help keep you, balanced and calm and stress-free, lower your anxiety. They're there for you, help you get mental clarity to make sure that you're in the space that you need to be, and give you the right tools and tips and types of questions to ask, things to do, advocate for yourself. They help teach you so that you can maximize your chances for success while you're on your fertility journey. And oftentimes too, being on a fertility journey doesn't necessarily always mean you're going the medicated route. Your fertility coach will help you too, even if you're on a natural route, a more holistic route. So not everything always has to do only with the medical aspect. There is the holistic aspect as well, in terms of increasing your chances for fertility. So I know that was a mouthful. Wow, these minutes are just flying by. But thank you so much for tuning in. And should you be in need of a fertility coach, reach out to me, www.mcdbe.com, and check out my site, and you can see how you can get in contact with me and book a call so that we can talk further about how I may be able to help you on your fertility journey. So remember, don't count out the fertility coaches. They're just as valuable and important as your fertility doctor. Thank you so much. And until next time,